Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation.
Veteran broadcaster, gender and development specialist, author, activist, political analyst are but a few of the titles used when talking about Anne-Marie Williams. She sat down with her team to talk about her life, her challenges and triumphs, and the role she has played at the helm of several organizations at home and in the region. We will have that conversation after this break to hear from our partners, Ministry of Blue Economy, the Barry, Minister Kevin Bernard, and Del Martin.
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, preserving life and property. Disaster preparedness begins with you. Prepare. Have an emergency kit and family plans ready. Know your hurricane evacuation routes. Protect. Move to safe shelter. Listen to your local radio and or television station for official reports from NEMO and the National Met Service. Assist. Help your neighbors and community. Stay away from flooded waters and loose power lines. In an emergency, every minute counts. Have a plan. Stay informed. Save a life. Contact NEMO. Emergency line is 936. Telephone 822-2054 or 822-0995. Email us at nemohqbmp@nemo.org.bz. Our website www.nemo.org.bz. Disaster preparedness begins with you. This message is being brought to you by NEMO.
Give your home or office a stunning makeover with exquisite custom-made furniture from Tibari Furniture, number 18 Church Street in Belize City. Our skilled artisans will use the finest wood available to bring your design dreams to life, tailoring furniture to match your vision perfectly. You can also check out our wide assortment of desks, sofa beds, washing machines, high-quality TVs, kitchen sinks, and refrigerators. Call us at 670-8061 or visit us today. Tibari Furniture, number 18 Church Street, Belize City. Tibari. Get more, pay less.
Well, you know what's up? Represented for Minister Kevin Bernard. In Orange Walk East, creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are feel away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity. So Orange Walk East, it's time to jump up. Come vote for Kevin Bernard, he keep on rising up. The roads are paving and sports is ongoing. Free education in Orange Walk East. The lot surveying and center building. Medical clinics in Orange Walk East. Culverts and drainage and health assistance. New schools are building in Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are feel away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity. Ven a votar por Kevin Bernard, es el hombre de palabra. Él está dando educación gratuita. Él está haciendo deporte. Él está construyendo escuelas. Él está construyendo clínicas. Ayuda con asistencia médica. Kevin Bernard trabaja constantemente para Orange Walk East. Él hace lo mejor para su gente. Es un verdadero líder. Sal y vota a Kevin Bernard el día de las elecciones. Creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people. Kevin Bernard, they are feel away. Orange Walk East people. He's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people. Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people. He's a man with love and sincerity. Accomplishments of land certificate for residents. Surveying of residential lot. Water tower built in Tower Hill Village. Culverts and drainage repair in Carmelita. Road works, health center and school in Santa Marta. Paving of streets in San Jose Palmar Village and Champagne Ridge Road. Centers and medical clinics in villages and rural areas. Educational and health medical assistance. Celebration events and programs in towns and villages. Over 30 roads have been paved and more to come. Creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people. Kevin Bernard, they are feel away. Orange Walk East people. He's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people. Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people. He's a man with love and sincerity.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one.
Anne-Marie is no stranger to the media. She's been in the media for so many years. And but I want to welcome her to our Belize Watch show. It's the first time I'm sitting down with her and learning about her life and her story, even though I've known her for many, many years. But this is a pleasure and a privilege, Anne-Marie, to be talking to you and to be hearing from you in your words. Who is Anne-Marie Williams? Now, Anne-Marie, I want you to start from the beginning, right? I want you to take us way back to, well, I know you were born in Belize City, I take it, and let's start from there.
Okay, let me first say the pleasure is mine. I've known you for quite some time too. I mean, one of my bosses, so it's a pleasure to be on Belize Watch. It's long awaited and today's the day. So yes, I was born in this old capital, Belize City. And I was born to Lillian and Maurice Williams. My mother and my father divorced when I was pretty young. So I like to tell people that I'm my mother's daughter. Mm-hmm. And in very many ways. She was a librarian at Wesley College for 28 years, the oldest secondary institution. And at that time, I was born right in front of Wesley College. We grew up there. That was my grandmother's house. And so she used to cross Yarborough Green to go to school. And at that time, Wesley College had fifth form when she started out. And the library used to be open in the nights because at that time, we never had internet. We never had Google. We had Encyclopedia Britannica. Exactly. And she had the reference section of the library that was held under mesh wire and lock and key, literally. And I remember in the nights the library used to be open from 7 until 9. So when I came from school in the evening, I would not do my homework, but I would go over to the library with her, and I would do my homework there. And I remember Faith Bab. Faith Bab was actually a student at Wesley College at that time. I was knee-high to a grasshopper, but never knew the Faith Bab until I got older, but yes. And her sister Florence, they were at Wesley College. I used to do my homework in the night, and I used to have my choice of books. Any research we needed to do, anything, I used to say, Mommy, thank you, read this. And so, where will I find this now? And she used to look at me and say, go to the second shelf, third book. One of the smartest women I know.
Everything was. No?
Wow. I like if I could be like half the woman she was before she passed, I would have done extremely well and still hold right now. So that's like an early memory. But before that, I went to Wesley School. At that time, it was Wesley Infant School and Wesley Middle and Wesley Upper. Wesley Infant School because we never had preschool in those days. You used to go to school at 5 years old. I went to school at 4 years old. My principal at that time was Ethel Daly. She's passed now. And Cashan Aspinall was my principal at the middle school. But so I went from Infant 1 through to Standard 2. Wesley Lower School today, as it's called, but Wesley School at that time, they had a policy, if you passed first and second for the whole year, you were skipped. So I was skipped from Standard 2 to 4. So I didn't go in Standard 3. And I remember when I got into Standard 4, so I met my brother who was in Standard 3, and he moved on to 4. So I moved on to 4 with him. So I was 8 years old, very small, and in Standard 4. And I remember being in Standard 4, and what do you think happened?
Helmet.
Passed second again, topped again. Well, of course, my mother was like, you're not going to Standard 6. Because, in those times, it was very common to say, oh, we don't like skip picnic because they miss out. Miss out upon what?
What, yeah.
I mean, hey, case in point. If I did 2 to 4 and I still top, what did I miss out on? So I didn't go to Standard 6. One of my teachers in Standard 5 was Miss Lozano. She lives in New York. I met her a couple of years ago. And then when I got into Standard 6, Mr. Parham, Roderick Parham, was the principal of Wesley College, at Wesley School at that time. And Shelmadine Maivit, she was one of my teachers in Standard 6. The days of excellent teachers. She was, I owe everything to them and my mom, trust me.
And I could relate with what you're saying about skipping, because myself, I didn't do Standard 6. I was at the Belize in Standard 5 and was sent straight to 2A at Wesley College. But anyway, go ahead.
And as you said that,
I can relate to what you're saying.
As you said that, my eldest brother went to high school from Standard 5. So he went to Wesley College, and my other brother was at Wesley College. I didn't go to Wesley College. I went to Belize Junior Secondary School number 2. Okay. That's the heyday of BJSS number 2 and number 1. At that time, Basil Coleman, the late Basil Coleman, was my principal.
Remember. Yeah, I remember Basil very well.
Yes, and he was a quintessential educator. I mean, I learned so much. So early, came into first form, and then what they had, we were streamed alphabetically. So there were 4 first forms. There were 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and 1-4. I was in 1-4 because my name is Williams. And then after the first term, if you pass like in the first 8, you go into 1-1. At that time, everybody was streamed, so 1-1 had the brightest students. So I went into 1-1 at that time. Graduated from Junior Sec number 2, third form, and then went to Belize Technical College. And, well, you would know that was the polytechnic institution where many arts and skills are taught. And
Freetown Road.
And there's none today that has the stature or the presence of what technical had. And a lot of people look back with great nostalgia saying, why, when technical, especially for arts and skills, a lot of the skills training, because they try to have set as a mirror, but somehow it doesn't measure up on the same level. But those were the good old days of technical. I did a lot of athletics at technical. I used to run track. I from junior sec 2, I had the title for the walk race champion. I did high jump. At technical, I was also the secretary of the famous Belize Technical College Student Union. I defeated Darrell Carter for that post.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And from technical, I went on to Belcast, the Belize College of Arts, Science and Technology. Belcast was short-lived too, and it was one of the institutions at the time too. It was a wonderful mix of trying to mainstream from technical.
Well, technical was assimilated into Belcast, right? Was became a part of Belcast, overall when Belcast was created.
And afterwards too, Belcast had the School of Nursing. They had so they were trying to do a wonderful amalgamation of this quintessential polytechnic type of education that I was really proud of, because it's like having your skills college, But today it's not the same.
Belcast was Belize College of
And
Arts,
Science and Technology, yes.
That's the meaning of Belcast,
And my early days, I did pre-nursing at technical, and then I moved into academic after the first year. And then when I moved into academic and graduated, I had a love for radio. At that time, there was no television. I had a love for radio, and my love for radio sprang from being in the Children's Festival of Arts under the direction of the late Flas Casasola. Okay. She didn't teach me, but she used to have like art and drama at Wesley Upper School, and I used to go. And I fell in love with that, and I was always a part of the Children's Festival of Arts. And
what role did you like playing in Festival of Arts?
I was in choral speaking.
Choral speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Choral speaking. That was my part. Chorus, little acting, but more choral speaking. Okay. And Flaska Sasola prepared us, and we won a number of prizes and things like that. And after high school and Belcast, was time for employment. Mm-hmm. And
But you were set to become a nurse, if I recall correctly. Yes, I'm not jumping ahead of you.
I changed over to academic. And then I love broadcasting. And then I decided, let me get a job at Radio Belize. There was a vacancy for an announcer. And I decided to apply for the announcer. And it was through the establishment department and everything. So I got back a letter inviting me for an interview. Yes. And the interview was held at the public building upstairs where
the establishment department was up there. Yeah.
Upstairs in that area where the Prime Minister used to be. Yes, So that was where I went for my interview. When I went for my interview, there were like 5 other people, all mestizo people. Only me looked like this. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, why only me look like this? And 5 mestizo people. That's what I said to myself. Because from I was young, I noticed those things. And I went in, I did the interview, everything, and, went home, waited. At that time, it's correspondence. So you wait until the mail comes for you. And the mail came and told me that I was not successful. And then you called me.
I think we should point out a little bit here that the Public Service Commission, that at that time Radio Belize was a department of the government of Belize. And so the posts were advertised by the Public Service Commission. You would tell the Public Service Commission, you need an announcer at Radio Belize. the Public Service Commission would advertise the post, and then the applicants would be interviewed by the Public Services Commission with some expert or somebody from the broadcasting department around. And this best person would be selected, but mainly it was the Public Service Commission that would have done that selection work.
And then if you're hired, then
in a short list, no? When they were
then
shortlisted.
you're put as an established announcer because you're on the establishment department role. So I wasn't hired, but you got wind of me. You called. I got my letter in the mail like the Friday saying that I wasn't successful, and without thinking, one afternoon I got a call from you.
Yes.
And it was mostly letters that time, everything formal, but I got a call from you. And I remember you asking to speak to Anne-Marie Williams. And I say, this is she. At that time, it was all the rotary phone. We never had cell phone. You call the house. You know, you have the house number, anything. And you told me that you wanted to see me, come to Radio Belize to see me because you want to do a voice test because you think that I would make an excellent announcer. Those were your words. And I asked you, when do you need me to come? And you said, can you come today at 2? Like, you call me in the morning and you said, can you come today at 2? And I'm like, of course. And I came to Radio Belize, the Albert Cattouse building, where Digi is now.
Yes, so offices over there.
Yes, and right downstairs, the security took me to your office and we chatted for a few minutes, and you said to me, I want you to do a voice test. I think you would be good. And I did a voice test. You took me in for the technician to test my voice, and you played it back, and you shook your head, and you smiled, and you said, when can you start working? I will hire you. And I said, you will hire me? I mean, I didn't know much about anything then because what we knew about was the establishment department. So then you explained, yes, I will hire you. Can you come on Monday? And I said, yes, of course. What time to come? 8 o'clock. I was there like from 7:30. I met you when you came in and you said, you gave me my marching orders and you said to me, well, you'll be an open vote announcer. This is how it works. You will be paid once per week. We will try to get you an establishment after, I don't remember the time frame that you gave me. You said to me, well, it depends on how well you work and everything. And I remember telling you, you won't have to worry about that because I will work. I like this. And you ran through with me that you will put me to work on radio first. And I will not be able to read the news now because I will have to prove myself and see. It's not, you told me it's not anybody who reads the news. And I said, I'm smart enough to read the news. I will read the news very quickly. And you looked at me and you smiled. And at that time, you called Lawrence Sylvester.
Yes, he was there.
He was there. And Lawrence was a program organizer, something like that.
In the newsroom.
Yes, yeah. You called him, and so the meeting became 3 of us. And he said, we talked. It was very good. And he said, well, after the second week, after my working for second week to a month, he will look at my progress, and then he will try me out for the news, right? He told me my diction was good and everything, but, we'll try and see what's up. And so said. I tried out maybe after 3 weeks, and he told me I was one of the people at Radio Belize who read the news the quickest after being there. After like 4 months, I was reading the news.
Yes. And in those days, the news, Radio Belize was the only game in town. I just want to set the scene. It was the only game in town.
It was a hard game.
Yeah.
Listen, when you listen to what comes out at the radio these days, I'm sorry if I'm mashing anybody's corn, but when you listen to what comes out at the radio these days, we always reminisce and say, you're ashamed for left Radio Belize if you can't pronounce a word, or so like you have to left on paper bag over your head. You just remind us too. And you had a principle. So after 4 months and I started reading the news, I started anchoring the 12:30 news. Yeah. And you used to record the news, 12:30. And you used to, I remember one day I said to you something and you said, you're very good, you made one mistake, but so and so. I was very new. And but I caught on very fast and everything. And you were the one who said, listen, anybody who makes a lot of mistakes on the news or don't prepare themselves, you take us off the news. I've never been taken off the news, but you used to take people off the news. From 12:30, I went to the 7 p.m. news, had 2 anchors, you remember? I used to anchor the 7 o'clock news different times, but I've never been taken off. But there was such pride. Rennie, where the pride gone now? There was such pride because you used to say, no make no mistake or no sound bad because no, we not detect this image. You said it right from Jump Street. And you know something? I would have never been so good had you not been so rough. And like I said, I wasn't taking off the news and you never gave me a flap. Think about it. I wasn't one of the people you had issues with. No, think about it. And because of that, I saw a number of people around me taking off the news, people who didn't come on time, people who didn't read the news well. And I said, I would never want that to happen to me. And from news and continuity announcer, I did programming. I did for every occasion, there was like graduate profile, it was like Spotlight and a Star. Then I moved on to Women's World. I used to do that with Ruth Brown. Ruth Brown used to do it. Yeah. And then I took over Fun Time. Jackie did it, then I did it. But it was such a pleasure. The radio had something for everyone. And those are some of the days that's missing. Yeah. But it was really a pride of craft. And only the best was truly good enough. It was no shortcuts. And you walked on the street and you walk with your head held high with a certain amount of pride. You know, when people tell you sound good, they're not just flattery, because you would have made us aware of that from a long time ago. So that was on AM. I didn't migrate good to FM because a lot of the announcers who worked FM were not the announcers who did a lot of speaking. It
was a disc jockey era, right. Bringing the disc jockey era.
So I remember telling you one day, I want to work FM. And you look at me and you said, no, you have to read the news. I'm like, so why can't I work FM? And we used to have some meetings, some serious meetings. He used to say, you know any fool could spin a record? You used to say that. You remember that?
I used to say that.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to hear these things being thrown back at you, you know, because I was much younger then, but more aggressive, I guess.
You used to.
Out with all
you had a pride in the AM band because
it was the only game in town.
It was all the programming too, and it was a lot of extemporaneous speakings. Those times we had to do our scripts, not to follow it verbatim, but you had to have some semblance of what you would have said when you go on the air. We had music clock. So you can't play the same music every day or everybody come on and play the same music. We would know like 2 to 3 is a Caribbean hour. We would have this and this. And Sunday mornings, we used to play religious and special occasions like Good Friday. You would not hear a boom, boom. You used to say boom, boom. And no. But with all that has happened and with all the changing scenes, and things have to change, I was most flattered and still is with the pride that you put in the station and the pride that was passed on to us. You forced us to be the best that we could be. And I will never forget that, because I always say, And growing up and growing older, I always say, when you surround yourself with people who don't expect a lot from you, you become nothing. No, it's true. When you are with people who don't expect nothing from you, how can you be something? Yeah. You know? But those days were really the glory days of Radio Belize. And I started out, my first salary was $106.24 a week. Yeah. And that was it. Got that every week, open vote, yes. And yeah, so those were some of the fantastic days. We had the record library that we had to, if you're working a shift at 2 o'clock, you cannot come to work at 2. You had to come to work either like 1:30 would be the latest you could come to work. Because you're encouraged to sign out your records, you go to the library, or if you have a shift before, you could sign out prior to working. But there was always this thing that you have to relieve your colleague within a certain time. You have to make sure that you're there. We would do a little rap on the air too, a little rapport, talk about how things are, for that smooth transition. And then you have to check the continuity sheets. There might be new ads that come in, or there might be something that has to be played within a certain time. So you really had to be conversant and cognizant of what exactly will go on. And it's not just to come and work 8 to 12 and you pick up your records and you go home. You couldn't leave the studio unless you were relieved. And an important part of that was that you instill in us that you think about your fellow announcer who's on duty. You have to relieve that person. And it's not in a here, I'm scared, I'm way. I mean, you need to spend some time to talk, to find out what's going on, what you have to do, and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Marie, thanks for giving me that feedback. It's good to hear. And I think God is very good and has given me the opportunity to sit down and listen and get a feedback from you after all these years.
We will be back with much more of our conversation with Anne-Marie Williams as she speaks of her venture into the field of gender and development. We take a break to hear from our partners, Ministry of Blue Economy, the Barry, Minister Kevin Bernard, and Del Martin.
All we the one. See what I mean?
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, preserving life and property. Disaster preparedness begins with you. Prepare. Have an emergency kit and family plans ready. Know your hurricane evacuation routes. Protect. Move to safe shelter. Listen to your local radio and/or television station for official reports from NEMO and the National Met Service. Assist. Help your neighbors and community. Stay away from flooded waters and loose power lines. In an emergency, every minute counts. Have a plan. Stay informed. Save a life. Contact NEMO. Emergency line is 936. Telephone 822-2054 or 822-0995. Email us at nemohqbmp@nemo.org.bz. Our website www.nemo.org.bz. Disaster preparedness begins with you. This message is being brought to you by NEMO.
Give your home or office a stunning makeover with exquisite custom-made furniture from Tibari Furniture, number 18 Church Street in Belize City. Our skilled artisans will use the finest wood available to bring your design dreams to life, tailoring furniture to match your vision perfectly. You can also check out our wide assortment of desks, sofa beds, washing machines, high-quality TVs, kitchen sinks, and refrigerators. Call us at 670-8061 or visit us today. Tibari Furniture, number 18 Church Street, Belize City. Tibari. Get more, pay less.
Well, you know what, sir? Represented for Minister Kevin Bernard. Orange Walk East, creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are all away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity. So Orange Walk East, it's time to jump up. Come vote for Kevin Bernard, he keep on rising up. The roads are paving, and sports is ongoing. Free education in Orange Walk East. The lot surveying and center building. Medical clinics in Orange Walk East. Culverts and drainage and health assistance. New schools are building in Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are all away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity. Ven a votar por Kevin Bernard, es el hombre de palabra. Él está dando educación gratuita. Él está haciendo deporte. Él está construyendo escuelas. Él está construyendo clínicas. Ayuda con asistencia médica. Kevin Bernard trabaja constantemente para Orange Walk East. Él hace lo mejor para su gente. Es un verdadero líder. Sal y vota a Kevin Bernard el día de las elecciones. Creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are all away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity. Accomplishments of land certificates for residents, surveying of residential lots, water tower built in Tower Hill Village, culverts and drainage repair in Carmelita, roadworks, health center and school in Santa Marta, paving of streets in San Jose Palmar Village and Champagne Ridge Road, centers and medical clinics in villages and rural areas, educational and health medical assistance, celebration events and programs in towns and villages. Over 30 roads have been paved and more to come, creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are all away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me.
And Marie, before we reach the CARICOM posting, I would like to ask you to highlight some of the changes and improvements you made at the National Women's Commission.
Well, a big one happens to be when I collaborated the Minister of Human Development right now, Families and Indigenous People, Dolores Balaramos Garcia. Mm-hmm. I was working at Channel 5 and Dolores came to me and said, we have this Maria Roches case. I knew about the case anyway because I was flagging it. Mm. And that Maria Roches case, I took it on and had a story almost every night in the news. Mm. At that time, she she was a special envoy, and that came on, the Women's Commission came under her. And that landmark decision whereby Chief Justice Conte ruled that it is discriminatory for a woman to be fired if she is a teacher and didn't get married, because in that time, if you're a teacher, you had to get married. And we worked on that. So that, while I wasn't at the commission then, that was something that I will always hold near and dear, because I had the opportunity to work on it. Now teachers can teach in the classroom without being married.
Yes.
And they can afford to have children out of wedlock without being married. So this is important for everybody to know.
Yeah,
It's the
antiquated
work
law.
it's the
colonial law.
Indeed, but it's a work of Dolores Balaramos Garcia, and it's something that I actually supported. And it came full circle when I went to the commission. In 2013, I did the revised national gender policy. The first one was done when I went to the commission under Joan Musa. And I did the second one, revised it, and it was the most progressive gender policy in the region. So much so that it caused a lot of ire. It raised a lot of issues with Scott Sturm and everybody, all the evangelical people. Boy, my former CEO was Judith Alpuche, and they made effigies of her and me. They buried the gender policy. They had all sorts of demonstrations across the country. Why did they have that? Just because the gender policy in the 56th page of the document said that Belize is a country of people with different races, different ethnicities, and sexual orientation. Yeah. What part of that is not true? Yeah. The sexual orientation. Now, look at it though, and I remember former Prime Minister Dean Barrow saying, I will not rescind the policy. I got my Bishop Roosevelt Papalut, who headed the Methodist Church at that time.
Very well too.
Yes. I got him as a champion for the gender policy. He actually did a commercial that we used to play, and he said straight, think about God loves the sinner. He may not like the sin, but you cannot come around and say that these are not people, people, and we're different people. And yes, and when Prime Minister Barrow said, I will not rescind the policy, that was a glorious day, because it set the tone for us to advance. He said that we were
the policy would be rescinded, right?
Yeah, we were so backward, but he held on, and I made sure, and I got champions. My former CEO, everybody came around, and now there's another gender policy, a revised gender policy. It's watered down a bit, but my thing is, we are a nation that should seek advancement. Yeah. We should progress. Right. I also did the National Gender-Based Violence Action Plan. And that was done in 2017 up to 2020. That has been revised also because it only lasts for a time. So those were two of the most amazing accomplishments while at the National Women's Commission.
You know, Anne-Marie, listening to you and really admiring all that you have done, I can recall a 20,000 plus movement that was carried out, I think, twice, if I'm not mistaken, yes. Right?
It happened 3 times, but
3 times.
I did it 2 times because I did the first one in 2014, and it was a collective effort, but I steered the ship. And it was the first time that about 12 to 13,000 women, non-political women and girls, came together from all over the country in a solidarity march, to ensure that women have right to health, to education, coming together as a nation. And it was important because it was done in March for International Women's Day. It was around the Ruta Maya time. It was March 4th. And we mobilized schools, we mobilized, everyone wore orange T-shirt with 20,000 strong. And then we had a slogan, imagine a Belize without women. You could never imagine that. And so all that, the extreme driving force, that was a turbocharge of 20,000 strong. We had women speakers because it was a time when we were looking at women in entrepreneurship to stave off gender-based violence. We address all the issues coming out of the national gender policy. But we were moving up to the 25th anniversary of Beijing, and the 25th anniversary would have been in 2020. So the second 20,000 strong was in 2016. I did that one again. But by the time 2018 came, I was at CARICOM.
Yeah.
So one was done here in 2018, not as big as the one in 2014 or the one in 2016. I remember in 2016, the day after was a House meeting, and I remember that Prime Minister Dean Barrow stood up and, well, it was the Women's Commission and the Special Envoy's office. So I did all the planning with the two spaces. So he at that time, it was his wife, Kim Simplis, who headed as special envoy. So he congratulated everybody for the work that they did and really stressed that he's never seen a movement like this that is non-political and everybody just coming together for the common purpose. For 2016, the students at St. John's College, boys and girls, young men and young women, joined the march. And we marched from Memorial Park all the way from along the promenade and went to the Marion Jones Stadium. And the rally was there at the Marion Jones Stadium. So it was, man, it gives me cold feet every time I think about it.
Actually, that was fantastic. The whole movement, I can remember seeing it. I can remember being around it, and that kind of thing. I can identify what you
and it's something I wished we would have continued to see, but who knows? I always feel like when things are that good and significant, we shouldn't lose sight of it, you know?
In our final segment, Williams talks a bit about women in politics and the publication of her book. We will have that for you after this break to hear from our partners. Ministry of Blue Economy, the Barry, Minister Kevin Bernard, and Del Martin.
All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation.
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, preserving life and property. Disaster preparedness begins with you. Prepare. Have an emergency kit and family plans ready. Know your hurricane evacuation routes. Protect. Move to safe shelter. Listen to your local radio and/or television station for official reports from NEMO and the National Met Service. Assist. Help your neighbors and community. Stay away from flooded waters and loose power lines. In an emergency, every minute counts. Have a plan. Stay informed. Save a life. Contact NEMO. Emergency line is 936. Telephone 822-2054 or 822-0995. Email us at nemohqbmp@nemo.org.bz. Our website, www.nemo.org.bz. Disaster preparedness begins with you. This message is being brought to you by NEMO.
Give your home or office a stunning makeover with exquisite custom-made furniture from Tibari Furniture, number 18 Church Street in Belize City. Our skilled artisans will use the finest wood available to bring your design dreams to life, tailoring furniture to match your vision perfectly. You can also check out our wide assortment of desks, sofa beds, washing machines, high-quality TVs, kitchen sinks, and refrigerators. Call us at 670-8061 or visit us today. Tibari Furniture, number 18 Church Street, Belize City. Tibari. Get more, pay less.
Well, you know what, Seb? Represent represented for Minister Kevin Bernard. In Orange Walk East, creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are all away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity. So Orange Walk East, it's time to jump up. Come vote for Kevin Bernard, he keep on rising up. The roads are paving, and sports is ongoing. Free education in Orange Walk East. The lot surveying and center building. Medical clinics in Orange Walk East. Culverts and drainage and health assistance. New schools are building in Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are all away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity. Ven a votar por Kevin Bernard, es el hombre de palabra. Él está dando educación gratuita. Él está haciendo deporte. Él está construyendo escuelas. Él está construyendo clínicas. Ayuda con asistencia médica. Kevin Bernard trabaja constantemente para Orange Walk East. Él hace lo mejor para su gente. Es un verdadero líder. Sal y vota a Kevin Bernard el día de las elecciones. Creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are all away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity. Accomplishments of land certificates for residents. Surveying of residential land. Water tower built in Tower Hill Village. Culverts and drainage repair in Carmelita. Roadworks, health center and school in Santa Marta. Paving of streets in San Jose Palmar Village and Champagne Ridge Road. Centers and medical clinics in villages and rural areas. Educational and health medical assistance. Celebration events and programs in towns and villages. Over 30 roads have been paved and more to come. Creating opportunities, delivering for Orange Walk East. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard, they are all away. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and integrity. Orange Walk East people, Kevin Bernard's a man with loyalty. Orange Walk East people, he's a man with love and sincerity.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one.
And then Anne-Marie moved on to CARICOM, right? You went away. And then, but you kept coming back. You're never. That's one of the things I admired about you. That even though you were away in Guyana, you kept Belize at heart because we could always reach you for comments on the radio or on TV at all times. So you always kept in touch, right? So that was good and an admirable of you that you didn't just go and say, "Oh, I'm over here now," and that is that. This is election coverages and what are you? You were right here.
It was always so expensive to come home, but I made it a point to come home at least 3 times a year. A couple years, I came home 4 times because of work that I had to do for Belize. Because part of my accomplishment at the CARICOM Secretariat is the first regional gender equality strategy. Again, it's all but passed. Two countries, Guyana and Barbados, had some changes, but the strategy is done. And I had regional consultations. I came to Belize for a consultation year before last in November. And I made sure that I came home because I have found a home among my people. And you can't, yes, that is true. But I remember leaving the night, and we had conference at church, and I had an opportunity to say something, and this was in January, and I said, you know what? Wesley is sending me. The important foundation I've had, it's thanks to my church, my work, my family, everything. Belize has been good to me. And so I will definitely come back. I've been at the CARICOM Secretariat for 6 years. And when I was about to leave, I remember the Secretary General, who's Dr. Carla Barnett, said, why are you going home? What are you going home to do? Because I didn't have a job lined up at home. I still don't have a job lined up at home. But I came home. I had a project to work on, but I came home. And she asked me, well, a number of people asked me that, but it mattered not because I'm multi-skilled and I could do a lot of things. But
before you move on, Maria, I wanted to highlight some of the things you did at the CARICOM Secretariat while you were
just
there.
About to say that. So the strategy has to be one of them. I've been instrumental in bringing to the Secretariat about $3 million to work on what is known as the Spotlight Initiative. The Spotlight Initiative is an initiative by the European Union, about 500 million euros. It's like a trust to eliminate gender-based violence in the form of family violence for the Caribbean. And there were 6 national programs. Belize got a program, and I was instrumental in batting for Belize. Belize has a program, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. And there was a regional Spotlight Initiative, and I was one of the co-chairs of the technical advisory group. Myself and Tony Bradber, who heads UN Women Caribbean, headquartered in Barbados. We were the 2 co-chairs. And out of Spotlight came a number of initiatives. One that I will always hold dear happens to be a program. It was an economic empowerment program for women who have been survivors of gender-based violence. And that women had to apply into the program. It was virtually done training, and they were given seed capital of $6,000 US to start their own businesses. And that's a program I conceptualize and manage. So we had recipients from Tobago, Dominica, St. Lucia. So Tobago, Dominica, St. Lucia. And I traveled to all those islands and made sure that the projects were on the go. After 5 weeks of training, the women, make sure that they register their business and everything. And I have some amazing pictures. One that stood out to me is this woman in Dominica. She's indigenous. Imelda is her name. And she was doing the first bed and breakfast in the community where they live, because the indigenous area in Dominica, they don't want big hotels. And she was doing a bed and breakfast. She's very proficient in handbag making and mats, all out of the local straws, like titai and like that. And she had her She had her baskets already made. She already had her room that she was going to fix up. So the 6,000 US, she bought a stove. It was so good. I visited all. That's the last project I did. I visited in November, December, and I came home right after that. But it was amazing. Then there was another project where we did virtually too. It was looking at citizen security in the region. Did training for parliamentarians and civil society organization. CARICOM does not have a history of working so much with civil society organization. CARICOM is very member state driven. Yeah. But for the gender and development program, I ensure that we did a lot of work with civil society because government cannot do everything. And if you have a vibrant civil society movement, they not only do the work, but they hold government's feet to the fire to ensure that what they say they will do, they get done. And so we did training in citizen security for parliamentarians and CSOs. Another accomplishment, CARICOM got its first CAP tool, KAP, Knowledge, Attitude and Practices, and that's a measuring tool. CAP tools have been used in education, in gender, in history, a lot of the social sciences to measure people's knowledge, attitudes, and practices. So I had this CAP tool developed on the Spotlight, and the CAP tool was around social gender norms, around violence against women, how to end it, violence against women and girls. And so we had a 2-day workshop that was trainers teaching the different CSOs and the heads of the gender bureaus how to use this CAP tool.
I'm amazed by all you were able to do, Anne-Marie, in those years. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I've met some wonderful people along the way. It's like it's been amazing. A lot of people wouldn't think to go to live to a place like that for 6 years.
And you adapted very well, but like you kept coming home, you kept calling every now and then you get a call from you. And,
I missed home. I used to, everybody knew at the Secretariat that if I could work at CARICOM in the day and walk home in the evening, I would do that. Yes. But when I'm at work, I'm at work. Never miss a day of work for 6 years.
Yeah, you were very
Never come late and everything, and did everything to the best of my ability. Top-notched.
Very good. I really believe training helped you.
Of course. Important foundation.
You couldn't come late for one shift, because you're gone.
And I don't come late. No.
Anne-Marie, earlier on when we were talking, we spoke about your political career, right? And I think at heart you are still a political person, if I may say so.
Of course.
It
never leaves you.
It never leaves you because you are a political analyst as well. Political animal. Well, I said analyst because whenever we have elections, you are around. We have been covering elections. We have had you analyzing elections and what have you. And you've even written a book, Political Women in Red and Blue. So before we need to look at your political career, we can't make you go without looking at your political career.
Or a lack thereof.
You said you ran at one time and you lost. You said that before.
Yeah, the closest I came was when I wanted to be the mayor of this fair city. Mm-hmm. I lost my convention by 80 votes.
Yeah, you did not win that convention, right?
Right.
So you said you didn't even contest the mayorship with the populace, right?
Right. The person who won at that time, well, the PUP won the election, so it mattered not, right? Mm. But I wanted to be the mayor of this fair city. I saw a lot of potential. I still see a lot of things that can be done, right? Mm. And I love politics. I love analyzing. I think it is one of the most excellent ways to do good for citizens. Politics is a noble profession. It's the people who get involved that are less than noble. And I don't have to call names because you could just look around, right? But for that, I also did the Women in Politics project at the Women's Commission. 3 cohorts of women prepared to stand for elections, because when I took over the commission in 2008, the UDP ran no women on their ticket. And at that time, the Prime Minister tried to compensate by putting women on boards, but it's not the same thing. And so I tried to raise a critical mass of women by looking at a 13-week training on issues that are germane to politics and national development. It always starts in November and we finish in March around International Women's Day. The first speaker, and we bring an international speaker for the graduation and we do a public forum. The first speaker was former Deputy Prime Minister of Barbados, Billy Miller. And we've had Rhoda Riddoch also. She's an academic and she's a sociologist, and we had Lynette Vassell. But it gives an opportunity for Belizeans to look into the Caribbean world and to know what exactly is going on. So the Women in Politics Project, we have trained like 100 women. Some of them have ran and won. In 2015, the only 2 women mayors across the country, Fern Gutierrez from PG and Earth Lopez from Dangriga, they were products of the Women in Politics Project. Tracy Taker Panton right now, she is a whipper, Women in Politics. Yeah. And that had to be done because by signing on to the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW has a piece that says that temporary special measures must be applied in order for women to enjoy the same rights as men, and politically, because decision making is one of the areas of the Beijing platform, and we've done well in a number of areas, but in decision making, we suck. Particularly political decisions.
Well, why is that, Anne-Marie? You notice in our House of Representatives, for example, where there are 3 women, I think, at this point in time?
Yeah.
Out of 31?
Yeah. Well, politics, we must say that women are not socialized for politics.
Well,
and we are not, well, it has to do with women's triple role, and it has to do with our culture. Women are expected to cook the food, to wash the clothes, to work out, and then you have family. You need an understanding man and an understanding family to say you can go out there and do your political work. And also, too, we're not at that level where we raise our boys to see that girls are equal with them. So we live in a society that is super patriarchal. It's like a woman's place is in the home, like you stay there. So even when there's temporary special measures, Belize has still not had that conversation to say, let us, because the city council is 10-1, none of the political parties said, okay, we will find 5 women and 5 men. You will tell me that, look at the city council, the municipal. I was railing up, remember? A lot of them had 2 women on the slate. 1, why? Because the society, there's no outrage. There's no outrage. Women still do 2/3 of the world's work and get 1/3 of the world's pay. So we're looked at as second-class citizens.
But if you talk to some people, they would tell you that women are not stepping up to the plate where that part of the politics is concerned.
That's not true. Okay. That's not true. Women are sidelined every time because, especially in the first past the post system at the national level, one against the other, why save a seat for a woman and you could give one of your old boys a seat? Hence, women are usually put in. When you see a woman is anointed with no convention, she's usually placed in a division where she cannot win.
How do we change that, Anne-Marie?
Open our minds, free our minds, and the rest will follow. We are a backward society. We are backwards. In that respect, yes, we are backwards. Okay. Very backwards. Because it begins with gender justice. If you don't see me as your equal, How can you want me to walk beside you? But we are missing out because any country that continue to perpetuate that type of stereotype is not a progressive country. If you leave half of your population behind, then it doesn't begin to count as democracy. That's half your brain power you're not using. That's where we are.
You should see and judge a person on his or her merit, not necessarily on gender.
No.
That's what you're saying?
No. I am saying, look at it. Why is it that out of the 15 CARICOM member states, we have one woman, and by any measure, she's the most outstanding prime minister over 14 men? How can you explain that? But she's gotten the opportunity. She's gotten the opportunity.
There's no opportunity being given that will push our women forward when it comes to the upper echelons of politics?
Of course not. Women are not given the same shake as the men. Remember when we were doing the municipal elections, I said, are you telling me that out of a slate of 6, only 2 women wanted to take part? Only 1 woman? No. That's not true. Remember, I studied this, right? I'm not guessing.
Okay.
I'm not guessing. Yes, every woman will not want to take part in politics. But for those who want to take part, they must not be sidelined. And if you're outstanding, if you talk and they can't walk over you, you are sidelined. And the people who don't talk and keep quiet, they will not make the changes that are necessary in the country. Changes that will benefit man, woman, and child, regardless of the color.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, I agree. A person is a person, right? Whether it's a man or a woman, he or she is a person.
Right.
And that's where you should be judged as a person.
Right. So, but look at this. Look at this. How can you tell me that if you have 15 person, it has to be 15 men?
No.
This is the exact thing I'm showing you about.
So I say a woman is a person and a man is a person.
Right?
That's what I mean.
We need, it's important to look at gender equality.
Equality. That's what I'm
Because
if
gender equality is the goal, equity is how you get there. In other words, there's this famous picture whereby there's a fence and you have 2 sets of men looking over the fence. One set happens to be like 5 feet and above tall, and one is lower. You can't give them the same height boxes. You have to give the shorter one a taller box because one size does not fit all. You have to meet people where they are and you bring them up. That is what you call equity that leads to equality. See, a lot of people don't understand this. One man told me one time, he said, I had a meeting, don't worry, and 18 people come. I made sure gender equality, 9 women and 9 men. And today we're sharing out, like say, groceries. And 9 women will get and 9 men. I said, no, that is not how you do it. The 9 men you are giving may not need all the groceries. 12 women may need. And 7 men may need. You have to look at people's needs.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole thing. You just can't say, 10 men and 10 women, that's gender equality. That's not how it works.
See the person what he or she is worth.
It's almost like human rights. My right as a person doesn't trump your right. Not because 10 people are over here and you all speak louder than me, you have more rights. No. Because we're born free and equal in dignity and rights.
Equal rights, Anne-Marie. That's what it's called. Equal rights. And talking about equal rights, you actually wrote this book, Political Women in Red and Blue.
Yes.
Right? And it's good, I must commend you. You use both colors, red and blue.
With my own funds.
Right? So,
with my own funds.
Okay.
And I did so because the stories had to be told. And if you notice, men who write books in Belize don't write about women historically.
And you have some very outstanding women here.
It's all of the women who serve in the cabinet from Madame Liz,
Yes.
all the women who've served in cabinet, except Beverly Williams. Because although everybody's in here, and I was using my own funds, I wrote them to say, this is what I'm doing, would you like to be included? I didn't have to ask, but everybody responded except her. So one person is missing, and this have 12 stories.
Yeah. Jane Osha,
Yes.
Ana Patricia Arceo, Dolores Valderramos Garcia, Sylvia Flores, Lisa Schumann, Faith Babb, Audrey Joy Grant, Lisela Lamia, Tracy Panton, Carla Barnett, Gwendolyn Lizarraga, and of course your bibliography.
So all the women who serve, and this is important because it can be used as supplementary material. I meet a lot of young people who don't know anything about these women. Some of them never heard their names. And this is an important piece. This is not only women's history, it is country history, it's Belize's history. And all the good things that these women have done. It's not just their story of their lives, but it's what type of legislation they've put forward in the House of Like take, for example, Dolores Valderramos Garcia. Whenever you live in a common law union, you must remember that she is the person who pushed forward the legislation to make sure that after 5 years, if you wish to part ways, you can get something and the other person can get something. Yeah, it's because of her.
Very progressive force.
Yes, and so these stories had to have been told, and we must remember too that Patty Arceo was the youngest mayor ever served, deputy mayor in San Pedro, and remember when she won. And she was so young, but she was not given a full ministry. And you know the parallel? All these women, Said Musa didn't give her a full ministry. Dean Barrow didn't give Tracy a full ministry. She didn't, Faith Babb didn't get a full ministry from Manuel Esquivel either. You know, Dolores is the only one. And I don't know if because of her ties with
Sylvia Flores as well.
Sylvia Flores got a full ministry.
Minister of Defense.
But I'm saying, yes, she served as Minister of Defense, which was unprecedented. It didn't last because after a year, she was given human development, right? Lisa was Foreign Minister for all the 9 months.
And yes, and Miss Jane did serve in the cabinet as well.
As parliamentary, well, like Deputy Minister, Parliamentary Secretary. But her story is far more awesome.
Yes, of course. Miss Jane's story. Oh, that's a great story, Miss Jane. We salute Miss Jane and her legacy will live on forever and ever as far as the credit union movement goes.
I would never have done this book without that. And look, this book was launched at Jane Usher's credit union with the help of her son, Clement Usher. Yeah, it was so good. Yes. He was very, very supportive.
Jane was a trailblazer, man.
More than a trailblazer.
She set the bar.
Yeah, we stand on her shoulders.
Yeah. Jane was good. Well, Anne-Marie, in your book, you highlight women who have really excelled in their party politics and the politics of this country. But there are many others who have also done great. What would be your comments on those? Why aren't we seeing them in the forefront?
Well, you're talking about the women who put the men in power. Women have always been in the background. They have always played subservient roles. In other words, it doesn't matter if it's the city, if it's the rural, wherever. Once a man has a spot to run or he has a campaign team, the bulk of them will be women. They have found this way to campaign for the men. They are the foot soldiers, or Faith Babb will call them the pudding pan brigade. They cook the food, they sell the barbecue, they do everything that they're supposed to do and more to get the man elected. But it seems as if though it it hasn't dawned on them that they could take that same effort to get their same women and their own generation elected. But I know something that a lot of people don't. We haven't really taught women what it means to support other women. We take it for granted that they know. And over my years of study, I realize that they don't know what it means to support other women. A woman would tell you point blank, I know to vote for she just because she not a woman, but you vote for him just because he not a man. Sometimes less educated than the woman, not know anything at all, and they support her. We need that consciousness to be turned on its head, to say, if we're looking at the best candidate, we would have more women in politics now than men.
So, listening to you, can I take it that one day I will see Anne-Marie Williams on a political ballot?
No, they would have to appoint me. I am working now to support other women to get in positions.
So you don't want to get out there and head the...
No. I've had enough. I've spent my money. No. My role is to help women to get elected. I want to do the work. I like to do the work that the average person doesn't like to do. I like to do the work.
Wouldn't that be true to say of other women that they like to do the work? Suppose they would say they like to do the work like you, then who would step forward?
I like to do the work for women. I am not putting the man there and I have a woman to put there. I want to do the work for women. I stand unabashedly to support women. We have to support our own kind. Next year is the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, which is the most comprehensive roadmap to achieve gender equality. Belize signed on to Beijing. And there are 12 points, and one of them is women in decision making. And we're yet to crack that code. So I have a passion and I have a heart. My mission is to get women elected.
So that's the future direction that your life is heading, Anne-Marie? That's what you're telling me here? Because I was about to ask you, what's next for Anne-Marie?
One of many facets. Look around. You will see. You will see. No, you will see.
I will see.
With time, yeah. Everybody will see.
Everybody will see what
and
next for Anne-Marie.
And an important part in that contribution.
Well, Anne-Marie, certainly it was a pleasure and a privilege talking to you. You took me back down memory lane earlier on with regards to the Radio Belize scenario, because it's one thing doing it and one thing hearing it being fed back to you by someone who was affected by it.
You and I have also shared the stage as MCs for the national celebration. I have MC'd the 10th September for like about 15 years, and you have done independence. I've done independence for like about 4 years. But the government has changed and I've not been invited. But that's Belize, and that's okay, But again, another proud moment.
Well, you see, Anne-Marie, like ourselves, we are patriots and we serve our country first. In my mind, I don't serve a political party or any individual. I work for my country and its people and its advancement. That's what I'm interested in, advancing my country and my people.
Indeed. Country first.
That's right.
This beautiful land, warts and all. Mm-hmm.
So it's always Belize first, God, Belize. In that order, and then we could discuss the rest. Right?
Yep. It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
The honor and privilege is all mine, Anne-Marie. And one thing that came out here is a lot of love you feel and passion that you feel. And love is always a choice that we make, But we love God, first of all. Then we love our country. Then we love ourselves. Then we love our fellow Belizeans as we love ourselves. And in that way, we will have a better Belize. Right? And so, because we choose to love, we say to you, Belize and beyond, thanks for choosing love.
Celebration time.
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one.